Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Syafiq Zarif.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Atiqullah Amran and I am from class DLM 4E.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Afif Nizamuddin bin Muhammad Nur. I'm from DLM 4E. Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amin bin Ahmad Musri. I'm from DLM 4E. So, today we will discuss about a topic between useless and madam useful. So, first let's read the case first.
Useless was a sales advisor at Best Autos Jamarat, a well-known as car dealer in Johor Bahru. He worked there for 2 years after finishing his secondary school. One day, his mother, Madam Useful, contacted Useless and persuaded him to return to Ipoh and further his study in accountancy at College Professional Mara, Ipoh.
Okay. Now I will continue from Atik. Okay. Madam Useful offered to provide him Rm 1,000 ringgit as his monthly expenses and a single-story terrace house if he would agree to return and further study. Okay. Taking that as a great opportunity, Useless agreed to that offer.
After 6 months of his return, there was a misunderstanding between him and Madam Useful. His mother stopped giving the expenses and asked him to leave the house he's living in.
Okay, Useless was very frustrated with her mom and he would take a legal action toward his mom because his mom was take back all the monthly expenses and as well as possession of the house at the Ipoh during his studies. Okay, with that I thank you. And I want to talk about consideration. What is consideration? According to the Section 2D Contract Act 1915, the definition of consideration is when, at the desire of the promiser, the promised or any person has done, abstain from doing, or does or abstain from doing, or promise to do, abstain from doing something such act or abstinence or promise is called a consideration for the promise. Okay. Consideration is price which one party pays to buy the promise or act for the other. Literally, it's something that is given in return for something else. Consideration may be in form of act, abstinence, or promise to perform a future act. With that, I thank you.
So, in this case between Useless and his mother, Madam Useful, there is a problem of the consideration, whether the consideration exists or not. In the contract, Madam Useful provide monthly expenses as much as 1,000 ringgit and single-story terrace house to her son, Useless. If Useless agree to continue further study in Ipoh, Useless finally agreed to take the offer because he thought the offer were a great opportunity for him.
As an illustration, as this situation in this case is Zaid entered into an agreement with Mr. Zack, which is his father. Mr. Zack promised give him a motorbike if Zaid agreed to stop working and continue further study. Zaid agreed and further his study, and Mr. Zack gave him a motorbike. After 5 months, there is misunderstanding between them. Mr. Zack takes back the motorbike. Zaid frustrated and would like to take legal action against his father, Mr. Zack, because his father take back the motorbike. Zaid cannot take legal action against his father, Mr. Zack, for breach the contract because the agreement is considered as family agreement.
As we know, if the contract between Useless and his mother, Madam Useful, were made in writing method, Useless can take legal action against his mother, Madam Useful, if his mother breached the contract. It is because the requirement to be valid in exception to general rule, even their contract is family family agreements. Okay, now I will talk about intention to create legal relation. Okay, the issues in case is the whether Useless can take legal actions against Madam Useful after Madam Useful stopped the giving monthly expenses and single-story terrace house to Useless. If Useless agree to return Ipoh to further his study. According to general rules, agreement itself does not create a binding contract, which means it must be intended to be legally enforceable. There must be a presence of express or implied intention.
Intention to create legal relation simply means that the parties to the agreement are ready to face any implication if they fail to perform the term under the contract. CA 1950 is silent on the intention to create legal relation. However, the requirement of ITCR can be seen from case law. The presumption of the existence of ITCR of this case is under social, domestic, and family agreement, which is the law treats social, domestic, and family agreement as agreement without intention to create legal relation. In other words, the agreements are not intended to be legally enforceable. Therefore, failure to fulfill the promise will not be subjected to legal action.
Illustration by case Balfour vs. Balfour 1919. Defendant was a civil servant, left his wife in England to fulfill her duty in Ceylon. He had to promise to his wife to pay she allowance as maintenance. Unfortunately, he failed to fulfill his promise, and the wife wanted to take a legal act to wake him. There is no contract due to the plaintiff because she failed to prove intention to create a legal relation between them.
From this case, we can conclude that Useless cannot take any legal action against his mom, which is Madam Useful, because Madam Useful is his family members. It is because there is no legal agreement between them. they also did not intend to on by legal consequences. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.